But that's the way it is out here. It's everything is reversed. You become the fine chick in the club. You know what I mean? Without being a chick in the club, you become the. I'm saying in terms of attention, you become that, and that's what's overwhelming. I can't say
Yes.
how I was in Colombia like that, but I guarantee.
Yes. It
Okay,
was
so you understand.
overwhelming.
It's overwhelming, bro. And that's
I
why I try to tell y'all, man. Y'all better listen. Y'all better stay away from them haters. And I ain't
mm,
got much more to say, but y'all stay away from the haters. Don't let them shame you out of seeing what your life, what you could really have. This brother here has told you guys himself. It ain't just me talking from Thailand. It's somebody that's been to Germany. I never been to Germany. I heard they love brothers out there, and I heard they got the fatties. They got the
they
fatty
all of that, everything,
stallions
all
out
of that,
there. You know
all
what I
of
mean?
that, all
Love
of that.
brother. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying, man. The world is yours, you guys, man. You guys just have to go and get it, man. Y'all young enough to pick up on the game and do what you do, man. So,
That's
Now,
that,
what
yeah,
about Brazil? What are some of the
I love Brazil.
benefits of Brazil?
Brazil is dope. See, like if you ask for my prototype of what it is, like what I like if you saw my ex-wife, if you saw my ex-girlfriends, if you saw my prototype is like I love a small waist. Everything else can be big. Small waist, fat stomach, everything else can be big. I love natural. That's one thing about Colombia I hear. They got a lot of, you know, extra out parts. I like natural. I like a natural woman. You know what I mean? So I like everything to be naturally there. Um, I like a beautiful bronze color, and I like something that can just come up out the beach, out of the beach water, and just shake that, and lay back down and finish tanning. You know, yeah, I like that shit. That's what I like. And I don't want it to be a weave either. But you got to shake that shit. You know what I mean? I want to see it coming to me in slow motion. Like that's my type, right? So that's what I've always had. So when you talk about Colombia and Brazil, that's the travel OGs like prototype. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So Brazil is cool too, but that's the only thing. Like I say, what takes, and I ain't been to Colombia yet, but what takes Thailand over the top for me is safety. See, in Colombia, he got to worry about if I
Facts.
kiss if I kiss her titty, am I gonna be asleep for the next 3 days and wake up all my shit gone? I'm missing a kidney. You know what I mean? If I'm in Brazil, are they gonna just snatch my cell phone out of my hand? Ain't nobody gonna do nothing about it. I'm gonna get robbed in the middle of daylight. You know what I mean? Like the stories I've heard when I was in Brazil was cool. Like I went a long time ago. But cool and I went. But the stories you hear, it's just like being in LA. Like everybody ain't gang banging and everybody ain't
Mm.
dangerous and all that stuff. But when you hear the stories, it makes you go, damn, you think everything's like that. So you got to err on the side of caution. So Brazil has that tough because think about it, man. Like I like mixed anything mixed with black to me is usually beautiful. You can mix a black, you could take an ugly black person and an ugly anything else and make Halle Berry. You know what I mean? So so it's like that. So I like mixed women, and what makes Brazil and Colombia so dope is because they got the African, they got the indigenous Indian, and then they got a European. Because everybody that conquered, what's the first thing men do when they conquer? They impregnate the women and create their own thing. That's why a lot of this country speaks Spanish. That's why in Brazil and Colombia they speak Spanish. Mexico, all the way down Chile, all the way down because the Spaniards came and conquered them. Why do we speak English? Because the English conquered the Indians. Whoever conquered, that's the language that you speak. So they have this beautiful mix. You know what I mean? They have it in Brazil. They got it in Colombia, and I love that mix, man. I just love mixed people. I think it's beautiful. That's why, because we're black, whatever we touch, whatever we impregnate, that becomes black because we got the most powerful, the strongest genes. I'm not saying that just because I'm black. I'm saying it because these are facts. Like scientists say this. So so that's what I love, man. I love mixing. I love culture. I love learning culture. I love learning languages. I love learning food, trying different food, and that's part of the experience. Don't get me wrong, man. Women is the exclamation point. To being in
Mhm.
Thailand or anywhere else. That's the exclamation point. But you got so many other layers to the country. Like I said, cost of living, food, culture, language. You got all this stuff, and then the exclamation point is, having a beautiful woman that will love you for who you are. Hopefully, if you pick the right one. Like, that's
Mhm.
another thing too. If y'all like, 'cause a lot of people are suckers, man. And I say that when I'm episode, y'all see it. If you're a sucker, you're gonna get licked. Because
Yep, yep. I seen that.
Yeah, because if you don't, if you don't, I mean, you still got to, even though I say this is a safe place where we're from, whether it's Jamaica or Africa or South Central LA, you always got to keep your head on the swivel and be aware wherever you are, because any you can get it anywhere, you know what I mean? But it's just the chances are less likely. So, but even still, you got to be aware. So if you meet a beautiful woman that's half your age, that's every 5 minutes crying they need money about something, bitch, I just met you 2 days ago. You know what I mean? But
Exactly.
people will tell you who they are. You know what I mean? So when people show you who they are, believe them. But some men just be caught up. I got this fine ass girl. You know what I mean? That's all they can think about. You know what I mean? But there's finding a woman in Thailand, Colombia, Brazil, in my opinion, is the least of your worries. The real challenge is finding the right woman. That's the challenge. And once you the right woman, if that's what you want, like that's nothing too, man. Don't let them do this to you guys, man. I gotta tell y'all, man. It's like what whose business is it why you come out here and what you come out here for? If you coming out here to party till your piece fall off, if you trying to knock as many things down as you can, that's you on your vacation. Who's to say? But when you go to Vegas, it's okay. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. If you want to do that, it's okay. But if a man want to exercise his option, they always try to belittle it. But the reason why a lot of times they belittle it because they know the cat is out of the bag. And once we realize that the shenanigans ain't acceptable, that's really what they worried about, in my opinion. But it's too late, man. It's over, man. Like I said, with that Kevin Samuels thing, it's over. Like I could. What is the advantage of somebody in the Matrix? And now, don't get me wrong. Not everybody's like that. You can still find some good ones, but the internet is blown up to where everybody thinks they fine. And that's a problem because everybody ain't fine, you know what I mean? And that's another thing about like Brazil, Colombia, Thailand. The women are beautiful, but they don't think they fine because everybody's beautiful. Like we all, you know what I mean? We all in shape. We all cool. I'm nothing special. I'm just, I'm just another orange in the orange bag. You know what I mean? It's like, no, baby, if you was in the United States, you would be a straight up killer. So
yes.
it is. But anyway, I know I talked y'all ear off, man. Are y'all good?
He definitely good. The Kevin Samuels thing was really disheartening. I'm not gonna lie. It was.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of talking crap about people who have passed, no matter how much you dislike them, because I feel like they're gone already. So just let them go. Like what more is there to say? And for so many people to rejoice, it was so disheartening, man. It was so disheartening.
That's just exposes who they really are. You know what I mean? That's why I say, like, if people come on my channel and start hating, it's like, you're exposing yourself because number one, I don't talk bad about black women ever. You watch my channel, I don't do that. I don't. I stay away from the negative. Like I always show people, like, why don't you show when people, get their heart broken? Why don't you show when people, whatever, something bad happens? I'm like, that's not my experience. If I have a bad experience, trust me, I will talk about it. But my experience is 99% has been, wonderful because this place, there's no stress. The only stress you have here is the stress you put on yourself. Shout out to the golf police. That's his line. But it's true. The only stress you're going to have is stress you. As long as you play good in the sandbox, there's no reason to get stressed out. So for somebody to hate on somebody trying to show people a better life and encourage brothers, that just lets you know their state of mind. You know what I mean? So, and you got to pray for them, man, because, just think about that, man. People hating on somebody for having a passport.
It's
That's
crazy.
what I said earlier. That's like hating on somebody for having a driver's license. That's all a passport is. It's a glorified driver's license. It's just your ID to show where you are in the world. It's not, you know what I mean? So it's like for people to hate on, think about that. Like you got to really let that sink in. Like, cause I used to think like, why are they mad? They mad because we got passports? Like, what is the what?
It don't make sense to me.
At all. So that lets you know that's just where they are in their life, man. So but the thing for me, hey, you get mad because I'm showing you I got my passport. I'm really gonna make you mad when you finish seeing what I'm about to do in these next episodes. You really gonna get mad because it fuels me. Because whatever whatever you don't want people to see, I'm really gonna show it to them now. Because all I need somebody to do is tell me I can't do something. You know what I mean? That's all I need you to do. That's all the motivation I need. You know what I mean? So especially when I'm moving righteousness, especially when I'm moving in with a positive message, it's like you can't stop me, man. I got to keep on going.
That's a fact.
Do you think some women in Thailand fetishize black men? Because that's another thing where it's like, well, of course they do because they fetishize.
Of course, that because y'all two coming to Thailand, y'all gonna look like their favorite rapper. Of course. But think about it though. Like that's another, see, that's matrix thinking. Not saying you are, but that could be flipped, and you could say, yeah, man, it's just a fetish thing. They just want to do it black. But you can also flip it back the way they look at it is like, man, I feel like I'm connected. It's just like the same thing of y'all. What city are y'all in?
New
New
York.
York,
Okay, y'all in New York. Even though they got
Queens.
everybody in New York. Y'all in Queens? Okay. Hey, that's damn near the birthplace of hip hop. But Run DMC, man, I'm a big Queen. I love New York, man. I only stayed in Manhattan, but I just love just the essence of New York. But I'm LA.
Majority of your following is from New York, right?
My biggest followers is from New York, but that's not why I like New York. I like New York way before that. Like, New York is where I got all my hip hop from when we first started.
Yeah.
We LA, we idolized New York, man. You know what I mean? We did until they started dissing us, talking about our Jerry curls and NWAs and all that stuff. That's when it started to change. You know what I mean? But that's why we had to find our own voice, because back then we wanted to be like y'all. You know what I mean? But we found our own voice, which is the birth of gangster rap and all that stuff. But what was I saying? I was making a point.
Fetish.
Oh, the fetish thing. So it's just like I told you earlier, how the movies will make them like white men. Well, the musicals what makes them like black men, because hip hop runs the world. You know what I mean? It started in New York. It started in the Bronx on Cedric Avenue. And then from there it stretches out to Brooklyn and Queens, and then Long Island you got Rakim, in Queens you got LL, you got 50 Cent, you got Run DMC, in the Bronx you got Fat Joe, in Brooklyn you got the best rappers, Jay-Z, Big, you got and now it's worldwide, took over rock and roll, R&B, everything. So guess what? Women like to fuck the conqueror. Who is the baddest? Who is the biggest? Who has the best music? Who has that? So when they see you and you're from New York, like, they'll never get to go to New York. So you are New York to them. So that's what makes a fetish. It would be the same as if y'all was at Starbucks. I don't know, y'all don't seem like the Starbucks type, but I'm just using that as an example. You guys are at Starbucks standing in line, in a long ass Starbucks line, or in the iPhone line, whatever line you want to be in, and the girl standing right in front of you or behind you, little unassuming Thai woman that's bad, fine, body, cool, and talking to you saying, hey, I'm just visiting from Thailand. I've never been here before. I don't know anybody. I just came to America. You're gonna be like, hey, I'll be your
Yep.
tour. I'm gonna show you everything. You're gonna let that down, because she ain't been tainted by nothing. She don't know nobody. You get to represent what you want to represent, and you get to lock her down. And that's the same way you would fetishize her. You might not have never been with a Thai woman or a foreign woman. Like, that's the same way they look at us. So it's kind of cool. I like it. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
the way we're treated in our own country, it's like, to know that everywhere else in the world we get the royal treatment. It's like, dude, that's another reason. And that's why a lot of the women don't want us to leave, because they know, because they can't do that. That's another reason why they can pretend like they can do that, but there's no other culture that's going to put up with that attitude. There's no other culture. Now, they could be used as a fetish, like, okay, it's a black girl from the States, yeah, but they're not going to, nobody long term is going to put up with that attitude.
Nope.
But if you notice, a lot of the sisters, when they date outside their race, you notice they don't have that attitude with them.
They don't.
That attitude, because they know, you know what I mean? It's like, if they want to succeed in dating outside the matrix, then they're going to have to lose the attitude. But when you're like that, when it's embedded in you, as soon as you get angry, it's going to come up anyway. But that's the difference. See, we have the advantage. See, it's just like what you guys know, like at the age of like 18 to like 30, the women have the advantage because they got youth. They got all of that youth on them. They got the advantage. But once they pass 30 and they're getting out of age to be able to have children and all that stuff, they don't become, now they're 30, they got to compete with the new group of 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds. And then when they turn 30, it's a new group coming. You know what I mean? So their time is limited. Us as men, we just season and get better. Because a man wants a woman that looks at, we don't give a shit if she lives at her mama house in her mama's basement. If she goes to the gym, takes care of herself, good looking, we don't care. But a man has to have his shit together, because a woman wants to be provided and protected for. It's just natural law. You know what I mean? Like, you can go back to the caveman days, man. The caveman had to go out and find that animal and kill it, bring it back. And then the woman would make something out of it, make fur coats, make food, whatever it is they were going to do, because those were the gender roles. And that's what we lost in the Matrix, is the gender roles. And that's the thing I just don't understand, man. And now, because of that, everything's falling apart. And unfortunately, Black people, we get the worst end of everything. Just like with Africa, like I've been wanting to go to Africa, but what's the medical like in certain parts of Africa? Like I want to go to the real Africa. But of course, when you look on the index of hospitals, the number one
Yeah,
all the way down to the number 100, guess who's in the bottom 80?
yeah,
If you have the bottom 80 countries, out of 80 of them, probably 15 are African countries. You know what I mean? So it's we get the worst end of it a lot of times. And that's why I say we got to come together and really like support each other. Because the first thing we do when we see somebody successful that's Black, we knock them down. And that's just what we do innately. You know what I mean? You know, eventually y'all get big enough. If they're not doing it now, somebody they're gonna hate on y'all. You know what I mean? It's just what we do, man. We on autopilot in terms of like not supporting each other.